Hey, welcome to Fictional Narrative. I'm Neri, and it is Cozy Saturday. If you are new to Cozy Saturday, is a series where I talk about the newest cozy mystery that I've delved into. I tell you a non-spoilery review, I give the rating, and then I give a warning, and we move into the spoilery part of the review. And today's book is A Chocolate Raccoon Rigmarole by JoAnna Carl, and it is the 18th in a Chocoholic mystery series. So, with this being the 18th in the series, the main character Lee has already developed a lot of rapport and reputation for herself being a amateur sleuth, and we sort of just fall into that, or I fell into that when I started reading this because it's the 18th one. In this particular story, we find that there have been a few break-ins in the town in terms of businesses, but all they would take are like little snacks. Well, one day, Dolly, a friend of Lee's as well as one of her coworkers, is in need of her help because her boyfriend is suspected of these robberies. And they're 100% sure that it is a mistake. Mind you, the thieves are stealing like sweets and stuff, and Lee and Dolly both work at Ten Huis Chocolate. I think that's how it's pronounced. And they have not experienced any break-in, so obviously the sweets are not the goal, because if you have a store that sells like chocolates and goodies like that and you're stealing it, scraps of it from other stores, you'd think this would be the big hit. Obviously, it's not the big hit. So with the story, I found the little town very charming. All the little commercial areas for tourists were on the pier. It's a really cute and cool setup. It also talks about a lot of like the cultural differences that town has, and itself is really, really cool. I like the characters. Lee and her husband play off of each other very well. We're introduced to her husband's like kind of group of buddies that he gets coffee with in the morning, and Lee talks about it like, oh, this is where my husband goes to gossip, but her husband's like, it's not like that, and that's not a spoiler because it's like the first chapter is that situation happening. And I thought it was a really cute, cool way to introduce multiple characters and a setting and a little bit of the community without being overbearing for the reader. It's really something that's action-based, but it's not action in the way that like automatically someone is dead. Of course, with this being a cozy mystery, this is not a heist cozy mystery. Well, it is kind of a heist cozy mystery, but it's not purely that. There is, in fact, a body. Dolly is a lovely character. Michael, her boyfriend, or Mike, is a lovely character. The sheriff, I like him. I think my main issue with this book is that sometimes certain mystery books, once they have their momentum already, things just sort of fall into place. And so you get things that kind of made me feel like I'm watching Scooby-Doo and the gang run around in the hallway, because they're always going to different locations all of the time. One character that I absolutely love from this series, who is mysterious, who I want to know everything that she knows, see everything that she saw, is Wildflower. Like, if she were to ever have her own spin-off series, I would definitely want to see that. She is not so much of a recluse, but she came to town seeking to live in the commune. That didn't work out, but now she's kind of like the head of her own kind of commune, and so she's very wary of the police and things like that. So she is an interesting character. There are multiple red herrings in this, and ultimately I think the actions in the book and how the mystery was solved was a good payoff. However, I didn't like the end of it. I thought the setup for the resolution was a little clunky, and so I'm feeling like maybe this particular series isn't for me. I still definitely think it's a really good cozy, and I do recommend it for anybody else. My rating was a 3 out of 5. So now that I've given the rating, I'm going to move into the spoilery section of the review, And this is probably where you stop if you're not ready for that. Otherwise, let's move along. So let's talk about raccoons. Okay, first of all, there is Chocolate. The raccoons don't really have so much to do with it as they're just there. They're like a feature. They're in the alleyway, and they may have gotten to like under the chocolate store that Lee works in, but ultimately there's nothing really to do with raccoons, you know? It's just that the people that Lee is able to get to catch the raccoons are the first suspect or the second suspect. And she's like, I don't know enough about these people, but it's really, really strange. Also, Mike, he is a really interesting character. He has a mysterious background. He's dropping hints to Lee, but he won't say anything because he's not the type of guy who would just speak about other people's business. Yeah, okay. Mike is one of the guys that she had asked to originally, go and help trap the raccoons and release them safely. The second person was somebody that he recommended because he was incapacitated. He could no longer do that. And it becomes a big thing for Lee where she's like, people are physically in danger and we need to find them. And there are also instances where the characters themselves feel like they need to go into hiding. And the places that they choose, I don't understand. I felt like because this is the 18th one in, there was a certain momentum that was built and chemistry between the characters that I didn't get a chance to see earned. And so with that being the case, I feel like I'm missing out on a lot. However, I also do want to properly critique how convenient some of the stuff is. For example, they'll discuss case details over dinner. They'll also discuss reveals over dinner. They'll discuss, how they're going to capture somebody over dinner. And almost in a way that it doesn't make sense. It was like, dinner is a must. Okay, yes, we must catch the evildoers, but we also must have dinner. And so towards the end of it, I felt less urgency in terms of finding who the people trying to do the heists are. And the fact that there is in fact body that is associated with the case, and the fact that there was an assault associated with the case because, again, Mike was incapacitated for a little bit of time. I think that there would be more regard for safety. And I just didn't feel that with these characters. But these characters are like worried for each other while also carrying the attitude that they can very much handle themselves. So maybe that is the issue. Maybe the issue is just the need to champion others instead of oneself. But also, there actually is a lot of running. Like, they're not just going location to location. I want to make that clear that there is a lot of running. There is a little kind of like situation with a broken umbrella that in the end one of the characters, Lee's aunt, uses as a cane, and it doesn't make sense. And then there are guns, like the perps have guns, but they don't use them because of the situation that they're in. But I can't wrap my mind around them ever thinking that they were gonna get away with this by the time that Lee solved the mystery, because she was ahead of it. Once she, the chief, her husband, everybody was able to figure it out and get the setup to get the people who have been breaking into all these places. There was no way that they could get out safely, whether or not they had a plan to, like, keep someone hostage. It was like they were just delaying a shootout, and it really didn't have to end that way. And I knew it when Lee went back to her chocolate shop. I'm like, oh my God. So she knew about the setup, but she's choosing to go and like not leave quick enough. I think there are a lot of flaws in this particular book that probably don't show up in other books, and I think it's one of the issues in which momentum is what is carrying it, and I wonder if I would feel the same way if I picked up like the first book. But again, it is not the only issue, because truly the way that some of this was written, it almost feels like a draft. It almost feels like, especially with the way that the dialogue is, which is very contrived, it feels like the rush was getting through to the mystery and not really taking the time to create a good dialogue between the characters, which in this particular story would do very, very well. And it's just one of those balance things. This book just felt a little out of balance, but again, there were still like really charming things to it where I'm like, okay, this is cozy. Okay, this is definitely something I would read to pass the time, and I am willing to give the series another try because the titles make me hungry, but also because I want to give the series a fair shake, because I don't have really a lot of complaints about it, but I do want to get to know Wildflower more. So I think that's what I'm going to do. And eventually some of these cozy Saturday episodes are going to be like follow-ups and talking about series that I have been following, and I can't wait to share those thoughts with you. So that is it for today's story. Yeah, so if you watched this far, thank you so much. And I do look forward to uploading more. August kind of kicked my butt. It kicked my footing from under me and dragged me by my hair around, I don't know, the Gladiator Stadium. Just, I'm glad it's over. So thank you for watching this far, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!